Live in Atlanta, Georgia, we have with us the Jump Star.
Welcome to the Haikyuu Podcast, Season 1, Episode 2, Carson High School Volleyball Club. What stood out to you guys in that episode?
I think one of the things that you see is episode 1 we saw how Kageyama, or not Kageyama, Hinata, the small Kyojin, the small giant, Chisana Kyojin, his love for volleyball. But it was cool to see how they brought out Kageyama's love for volleyball, and when he started speaking of setting, you can see, just his passion, and you can see just the love of it. Obviously it's anime, but it's still, I felt it, for me as a coach, I mean, that's what I wish for in any athlete that I coach, whether I coach track as well, but whether it's volleyball, whether it's track, whatever it is, whether it's one of my Japanese students, when you can have that passion, that's absolutely what it's all about. And again, we talked about last time that sometimes Kageyama, his presentation's not very good, but he's got a heart, and it's that love-hate relationship that you have with Kageyama is pretty cool, and it's exciting to see where it goes.
Something to piggyback off of that, something during that scene, and I'm thinking about that scene where he talks about why being a setter is the coolest, like that's the coolest position. This is why he loves being a setter. It was cool for him to talk about how it wasn't just the act of setting. It was, I get to control the game, and I get to deceive the blockers. And I feel like at the higher level, that's obviously what you want to do. But I feel like a lot of setters, when they start off, they don't think in terms of, setting with the intent of, what will give my hitters the best chance to score, and that is to fool the block, to set up my hitters in a way that they like to hit. I feel like Kageyama is lacking in that aspect because he just wants them to adjust to him. But I think that he can grow in that aspect. But in the aspect of deceiving the blockers, I think he has a very, natural sense of doing that.
It is interesting when you talk to setters that I think too often setters have a sense of, or don't have a sense of, was that a good set? Was that, a hittable ball? And sometimes the feedback that when I coach, you don't necessarily hear the feedback that you'd like to hear of, that was a good set, or, was it too high? Was it too low? That's what I always want to ask is, hey, how was that set? And there, sometimes the feedback is, it's like, well, tell me about it. Was it too high? Was it too low? Did you not, was it too close to that? All sorts of those kind of, those points, I think it's critical. And, you're right. That's definitely a cool part.
Yeah, I mean, because at first I didn't really, being a setter is pretty cool, to be able to have all that control.
It's the best.
But at the same time, I also see where Hinata is coming from too. Because when you get to be able to hit the ball, which makes sense, the setter gives you that chance to hit that ball. So being able to see, Kageyama being able to explain why being the setter is so cool, opened my eyes as well, because then it showed me a lot of reasons why setter is such an important part of the game. So I thought it was pretty cool too.
I think one of the things that when Kageyama goes into his diatribe, basically, a setting, and something that I will always tell every setter, and he obviously, again, the delivery is weird, but I'll tell the setter, it's like, it's your team, whatever five you have playing on the court, you figure out a way to win, and that's everything. I know when I played, that was certainly my mentality. It's like, I don't care who it is. It's like, I'm going to figure out ways to make them better. And I think it's the ultimate of making them better. Or it's the ultimate position to make others better. Obviously I think every single position, whether you're heck for that matter, if you're on the bench, you figure out ways to make them, make people better.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yes. I do want to stay on this for a second and to say at Kageyama's persona, I feel like when I watched this episode again, it really screamed Kobe for me, like the mentality of when he told Hinata that, oh, when you just claimed the ace position, so you have better gotten better, you have better improved, or else you're gonna just waste your 3 years like how you did in middle school, not knowing what Hinata kind of went through. But I feel like I didn't know Kobe personally, and ripped to Kobe, but I felt like watching Kobe like just demanding greatness from his teammates. I feel like Kageyama kind of has that same mindset of, hey, you need to get better. And you had the audacity to want the ace position, which is the best scorer on the team. So you had gotten good.
Needs to back it up.
Yeah, you need to back it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a cool moment to me that when I saw it, automatically I thought about Kobe. And and Kobe was one of my my idols growing up.
Hey, stick with the idol, because there was one moment that you actually brought up the season that was, I think, really a good team. What is it? A team activity. Hey! No phones here. What's going on here? One of the things, I feel like I'm in class. Sorry. My bad. One of the things that you brought up, talking about idols. Coach T brought up one activity this year as far as asking our players for who their idol is or who their role model is the way he approached it. But how cool was it? I don't know if you guys caught it, but when Hinata goes, "This is where the little giant Chisana Kyoji practice."
Yeah.
Not talking about games. We're talking about practice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And
we talking about practice?
Sure, talking about practice. Just talking about practice.
About practice.
But Hinata is of that mentality. Man, this is a special place.
But I think like a player practicing where another great player practice is more like meaningful than where another great player played at. You know what I'm saying? Because this is where the little giant, sweat, tears, all that, where he practiced that. So I feel like that's more meaningful,
especially if that's their first their origin, the origin story of it. But yeah, I thought that was a special moment. So
that was a really good moment too.
Nice. What other moments stood out to you guys when?
Well, let me ask you this one, because let's stay with Kageyama with this, because when he was. And kind of staying on the same line with some things that we've done with our team this year. By the way, we coach together on the same club team, so I don't know if we explained that or not. But we're coaching the same team, and we're having a great time, and hopefully we're able to continue the season here.
Yeah.
But one of the things we also did was we shared each other's stories with each other as far as. A pivotal moment in our lives that affected us and really changed, might not necessarily be changed, but it molded who we are. And I think one of the things that when Kageyama and Hinata were going back and forth, they were outside the gym and they were arguing with each other, and Kageyama brought up his story, and I think his story of, why setting, why he loved the game because of it. And I think it touched, Hinata kind of reacts just kind of nonchalantly, but I think anytime you're able to tell a story to a teammate, I think it connects you better.
Yeah, yes.
And so I thought that was kind of a special thing. Have you guys, in your coaching or your, in your playing, have you guys seen those kind of moments where, or have you had those moments where teammates, are butting heads. Sorry, you can't see that. They're butting heads one another. What do you guys do?
So is it us playing, or we see our players?
Might be it's might be your players. It might be your teammates. It might be you guys. It might be you individually.
Well, I mean, personally for me, like if I'm button headed with someone like while playing, I would try to clear the air immediately. Just because you can't play with that kind of extra pressure on your shoulders. Because you want like a team plays better when you all get along. You know what I'm saying? For me personally. But if I'm coaching and I see my players getting into it with one another, I would also want them to get over it as well. So I think that's a big thing for me. So I think you should squash whatever's going on if they're butting heads immediately. I think it helps. Just because you don't want to play with somebody who's gonna be nagging at the whole time. It's like, okay, I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah. For me, it is, or I try to take accountability myself and like what am I doing wrong that's like butting heads, even if let's just say to the extreme the other person is just being a pain in the butt, but like what can I do to help this situation rather than like add to the flames, basically. So first of all, I try to take accountability and just step up and be like, hey, take a step back, put my ego to the side and be like, what have I done or what can I do to kind of, to help this go forward rather than, just keep on butting heads, because that doesn't help me, the other person, the team. So yeah, that's what I try to do.
Yeah, I think having that empathy is really important. That's a good point, because and when we watched the episode, when Hinata had an understanding of where Kageyama was coming from, I think that helped him a lot.
Yeah, because he understood how important it was for him to play the game and play the position he wanted. So I think that was really important.
Yeah. To piggyback off of this kind of same discussion, I felt like a turning point of when Kageyama is like changing his perspective of Hinata was when Hinata opened up to him about his backstory, about how he didn't have the opportunity to play, and how when his first time playing was against Kageyama, and he was practicing in the hallway, and you could see Kageyama react, and he was like, hallway? Like, Kageyama's probably never practiced in the hallway because he's probably practiced on a court, throughout his, career or middle school, whatever, unless if he's practicing, extra time at home. But I think that that was the beginning of Kageyama's perspective of Hinata kind of changing and not just thinking that Hinata has been wasting his time, but rather like,
doing what he can.
Just doing as much as he could to get better, rather than not doing as much as he could. Yeah.
Have you guys seen the what is that movie? It's the football movie. Remember the Titans. Okay, sorry. So
Remember the Titans.
So Remember the Titans. One of the things that you guys kind of make me think of is Remember the Titans, where they they're kind of button heads, and the coach kind of forces them to, hey, you have to know one thing about your partner.
Yeah.
When they learn about each other, those stories, those pivotal moments, I think those are critical. And those are very helpful. I got a question for you guys. Do you think this idea of Daichi, the captain, he basically said, okay, if you lose, well, if you win, you're back on the team. Great. All right. That's what should happen. But do you think the penalty of Kageyama not setting is too harsh, even though he is legit crazy good setter? What you guys as coaches, as players, what's your take on it?
I think that's
for the whole season.
That is a good, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, goal to make him really want to work together.
But you understand that it's not even about the result. It's about a result that could go either way.
Personally, I think it's kind of.
Would you do that?
It's kind of harsh. I don't think I would do that. If I know that he's really good and he could help the team.
Ooh, interesting.
I don't think
I'd go against it.
I would probably pick a different punishment or whatever that Daichi was saying.
What would you do?
I actually 100% agree with his punishment because as a coach,
you agree because you think that we don't know yet.
Yeah, we
supposedly.
Don't know.
But you think that it's going to go the right way, right?
Right. I think that he's going to to.
But let's play the what
change his lead
because you don't know as coaches. You'll set. I mean, how many times have we set up things and it doesn't go the way we thought it would. We 100% thought it would. Happens all the time. I mean,
it does happen all the time.
And here's my response to that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, as a coach, I could probably never do that. I might say that, and I might have to give him another opportunity. Mm-hmm. Maybe not immediately, but as a life coach that apparently this guy is, as a life coach, it's absolutely the right thing. And when Kageyama talks about what the setter is and what it means to the team, then we're talking about how to get beyond this hump of disagreements or whatnot to be an ultimate teammate. I think that's critical.
Yeah. I think Daichi had a good feel of who they were and their potential. And even if Kageyama beat them, I think Daichi would have found another way to teach Kageyama that lesson. But I think it was like a stepping stone of, hey, I'm gonna try to teach Kageyama this.
Yeah, I can see that. That's pretty good visual.
Yeah, because
you're making it seem like Daichi is like I'm gonna get him out of his comfort zone.
Yeah,
make him seem like that he's just any other player and he can't lose his position.
That and
to
also
get rid of his ego.
Yeah, that and also it's just the fact that he values the team more than the individual.
Yeah,
And I think, and this kind of goes into
everything.
I want to talk about, which is how much I value Daichi as a character.
Yeah,
because he is the backbone, he is the leader, the captain of the team, and there are reasons why. It was because he always puts the team first.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a couple of characters that put the team first. That really stands out in this anime, that really speaks volume to how great this anime really is.
And I think ultimately all of them at one point or another, including Kageyama, you'll see through episodes that they have that sense of team. Let's continue that a little bit, because I think one of the things that you ultimately when Daichi talks about volleyball, and he talks about he kind of gives the basics of there's only one ball, you only get 3 touches.
Yeah,
how can you play by yourself?
Right.
And I think, and I'm sure you guys are the same way, but the reason I love volleyball so much is because it's the ultimate of team sports.
Yeah.
You look at other sports, and you look at some of the things that good players can do, the superstar players can do. Obviously, there are stars in volleyball. Don't get me wrong there, but you have to have the other complementary parts to be a really good team. And I see basketball, and I'm not hating on basketball, but I see basketball, I see other sports where one guy can take over a game.
Yeah.
And that's where the beauty of volleyball.
Yeah.
Here's another thing that let's get back to Daichi as well. That I kind of thought of in Japan. In Japanese society, it's probably the same in Vietnam as well. But there's a huge gap between even 1 year of high school or 1 year of junior high school. So Daichi is a third-year high school student, basically a 12th grader. The Kageyama and Hinata are two 10th graders, basically what they call a high school first year. And so Daichi is called the senpai. I think at one point they say, what's the bald hair guy?
Tanaka.
They say, Tanaka senpai, call me Tanaka senpai. I love it. It's like, that character makes me laugh the whole time.
Yes.
But the respect given to the older players, even if it's just one level older, I always, when I see that in Japan, when I go back to Japan, or I see it on TV or whatnot, it's always I think it's really cool to see. And
it's
I think
refreshing.
It is, because I think and not that necessarily it's that type of respect is given just automatically or anything like that. But I think a lot of times in Japan, especially, they've earned it. And I think one of the things that I hope I want to share is that, a lot of times these high school students will actually coach the junior high school teams. And the junior high school teams will coach the elementary school teams. And so you can see that level of, seniority is probably the wrong word, because I think we take seniority too far, but that senpai, kohai meaning younger age, or the younger level of student, it's really important in Japanese society. So it was cool to kind of see that develop as well. That for those other, volleyball players.
Yeah. And I think it was just cool how like Daichi took leadership by saying like telling his teammates that we have to put this level of pressure on these two freshmen coming in, because he knows that if they learn how to work together, that they can be really useful to help the team go to national. And then he was trying to explain it to his two teammates, saying that, if these guys can learn how to work together, which you see in the show, like that big light, once he explains it, it made sense to his teammates after he explained that, Kageyama is a really good setter. Hinata has great athletic abilities. So if we get those two to work together, they're going to be a really powerful weapon. So I just thought that he already saw what the potential they had. So that caught my eyes, Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And just wanted to put out there, Tanaka is one of my favorite characters, just saying. He is hilarious. Every time he has a scene, he always makes me laugh. And just the feeling, it's not just that, it's the feeling of just like what he did in episode 2, where he woke up early, he came to the gym to open up the gym.
5 a.m.
Yeah, 5 a.m.
Yeah. How many of y'all are going to come out at 5 a.m.
to open up for some scrubs?
Well, forget. Forget open up. That's obviously the harder part, but to practice. We're talking practice.
Practice.
Not
in a game.
Yeah, it's like practice. But I
have to do it. But
the dedication, it's refreshing to see.
Very refreshing.
And if it were real, man, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I think it is real in some places, and that's how some of these players are great.
That is true.
Yeah, it's just we're not used to it, but I'm pretty sure in other countries even that they get up at that time to practice. That's probably the only time they have in the day to practice, or they try to make 2 practices.
Yeah, and I think some people would say, well, that's because that's all they have to do. That's the only thing they get to do.
Yeah, that's
and I'm like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
it's like
they have lives too.
Well, I'm saying more of like some countries, especially.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to do there. That as far as the opportunities that they have. I think we have so many opportunities here.
Mm-hmm.
And so
take it for granted.
Yeah, and I think sometimes our athletes will say, well, yeah, that's because that's all they can. That's all they have to do.
Yeah,
I got so much more going for me.
Yeah.
Is what and I'm like, oh my gosh, well, do that one thing really good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, or if you're gonna do the other thing, do that thing really good too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't know.
Yeah.
So much. All right, here's the one Japanese lesson for the day.
All right.
What is it? Do you remember it?
No.
Wait.
What? Why do we play volleyball? Because we want what? We want more.
Oh.
More
ipon.
Yeah,
more
more
ipon.
ipon. One more. You know, it's like it's always cool when you get in the gym and you have the athlete. It's like, hey, I just want one more rep. It has to be good. Oh my gosh, we might be here all night. Are you kidding me? It's like, no, just joking. Okay, one more. More ipon.
All right. More ipon coming soon.
Please don't do that. Why'd you leave? Close the lead. Hey, thank you for joining us today. We hope you liked it, and we hope you check out the next episode. 皆さん、頑張れ！